Good morning. This is Jeannie Fisher, the 401k lady, still in Las Vegas at the Napa 401k Summit. And today I am joined by my work BFF, literally, Lisa Petronio. She is a fellow 401k advisor out of the Buffalo, New York office with Strategic Retirement Partners. We are living the same life right now, which a lot of you are probably living. We are talking about the working mom. Lisa, how many kids do you have? Three. Okay, Lisa has three. Oh, ages. What's the age range?
7, 5, 1.5. That was just before the pandemic, baby.
Yes. Yeah. And Lisa was super pregnant at the last Napa conference. That's what everybody keeps saying to her. So, of course, I have two children. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. So we have been laughing and joking. We've had some really great sessions here about just COVID burnout, how COVID has affected particularly working women. And there's all kinds of stats about somewhere between 2 to 3 million women actually leaving the workforce permanently because of issues over childcare and that sort of thing. And then there's also all these interesting stats about just the additional workload we're all dealing with. I know I did quite a bit of homeschooling last year, fingers crossed. My kids stay in school this year. So Lisa, what was your last year so like with kids and COVID?
Well, the last few weeks have been pretty wild in our house. We have been under quarantine orders twice within 3 weeks. And I just got a call from the school nurse before I came down. So of course, my poor husband is really picking up the slack while I round out the conference here. It's been a lot. It's a lot to overcome. And you just kind of take this mindset of, okay, I don't really have any other choice. So what's our next step? What cards were I dealt today? And what solution can I look at?
One day at a time.
Yeah.
One day at a time. So we found out this morning that we say the words, it's fine, 14 times a week. But we actually only mean it 19% of the time. So I have a good friend. We always joke. We're like, it's fine. Everything's fine. Do you say it's fine?
I say it to the point that my in-laws have commented and said like, one of your children has fallen, and I'll be like, they're fine. And they're like, I think we should maybe come look at it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a catchphrase for me, I guess.
Yeah. What is it? Like something we just mumble because we can't, right? Why do we not say it's not fine? Why do we not say, no, I'm really struggling right now?
I think it's part of that, like, I heard a term yesterday, toxic positivity. Like, we just feel like we need to keep saying, everything is fine. It's great. Everything is totally great. Yeah, it's not. No. And I think part of it is that people ask that question, how are you doing? Mm-hmm. I'm fine. And then they just move along instead of saying, but how are you really doing?
Right.
Are you really fine?
Is anybody ever really asking that? Does anybody ever really care? No. So Lisa does an affirmation. Did I say that right? An affirmation statement every day. And she actually just read it to me and it's super impressive. But she had a phrase in there that I had never heard before. So Lisa, you have the phrase non-attachment. Is that right? Can you explain to everybody what you mean by non-attachment and how you're incorporating it in your working, busy mom life?
So non-attachment is this concept that I'm going to do all the things that I can that are within my control to move forward a positive outcome. But at some point, I have to give up that there are things that aren't in my control. So I do all the things I can do. I have, think from a business development standpoint, I have made my offer. I have prepared for that finalist presentation. I've submitted the RFP. I did all the prep work.
Yeah.
Right? After you walk out of that finalist presentation, you just have to give it up. And I have made my offer. If you choose to accept it, terrific. I can't wait to work with you. If you choose not, that you choose a different offer, that's fine too. So that's that non-attachment, is getting to a place where you're not just so emotionally tied up in things that are outside of your control that if you can't control it, you have to at some point just let it go.
Let it go. It's a very Ted Lasso moment, right? Like, what's the happiest thing on earth? The goldfish. Because of their short-term memory, something bad happens and they let it go. I think that the non-attachment speaks particularly to women because we, especially driven business women, right? We tend to be maybe type A. We want to be in control. We want to make sure that everything goes right. And then we really beat ourselves up when it doesn't go right. Work or family. Right? Yes. Work or family. So we use the phrase all the time, my friends. We say, give yourself a little bit of grace, right? Like you can't be everything to everybody all at the same time. And that means that sometimes you might slight family time a little bit, or you might slight work time a little bit, but you got to give yourself the grace to let it go on and say, I can't do it. I can't be everything to everybody.
That's I often hear people use the words work-life balance,
Yeah.
and I have never really loved that phrase, because to me, when I hear balance, I think like about a scale where I've got 50% of my time at home and 50% of my time at work. And first of all, there's other aspects of my life besides just those two, and it's never 50-50. It's always in constant flux. So I like the phrase work-life harmony, because
Perfect.
what I'm trying to do is find a time where I'm at harmony with my work needs. Sometimes that flexes more to the work side, sometimes it flexes more to the home side, but trying to find a place where I can be fully present and productive and efficient, and whatever that means in all of the aspects of my life.
So much more so now, right? So Lisa and I actually, well, you have an office, but we've been working from home, of course, quite a bit. I work from home full time. And the difference, of course, now is kids tend to be there a lot more, whether they're on quarantine or, they were let out from school. And so that harmony has to exist. You cannot turn off. I actually was filming a video one time, and I'm not joking. My 7-year-old son walked into the room, burped, and walked out. Like in the middle of filming a video. Yeah, I mean, it's just you try for the harmony. Everything's overlapping everything these days. So
I saw your blooper reel, and I don't know if my favorite is that one or when your daughter came in and said, "I'm Jeannie Fisher, blah 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 blah."
Okay, so I'm going to ask one more question. I don't know if you guys follow Ginger Z on Instagram. I do. Lisa thought it was super cool, and I explained Ginger's a meteorologist on Good Morning America. But she's a busy woman, right? She's constantly working. She travels, of course, all the time, going to hurricanes and things like that. And she shared a post that somebody put on her LinkedIn where a viewer or somebody on Instagram, mentioned that her children were going to resent her because of all the time she spent working and not with her children. Now, Ginger had a really, really, really good comeback. But I would ask you, Lisa, what would you say if somebody came to you and was like, your kids are going to resent you for how much you work and how much time you're spending away from them?
I've worked really hard to create boundaries. It's still something I struggle with, especially depending on how that harmony between the two is kind of flowing. We've been at a really busy point in time in my work life. And so, finding ways and times to flex, that can be really challenging. But for me, it's about finding time to really be present so that when I'm with my kids, I am, doing things that are really engaging and not just like we're in the same room, but not really interacting with one another. And so I think it's about quality, not quantity of time.
Quality, not quantity.
And I want a lot of quantity of time too, but I think like 2020 and 2021 was a lot of time with my kids.
That was a lot of time. Yeah. This is probably too much.
Yeah.
If they cancel schools, I'm dropping my kids off at 7:30 and being like, somebody figure it out. they're going to school. So I grew up with two working parents, and I just admired my mom. I never felt like she was getting time taken away from me. I had 3 sisters. There were 4 of us in the household. I never resented the fact that she worked. I was in awe. I was proud. I was impressed. And so I can't imagine thinking that my daughter or son would resent us for working or yours. I think that they see productive, intelligent people out there hustling every day, not just for our businesses, but for them too. And I think that they like that.
I do too. My dad owned a business. My mom was a single mom. My parents were divorced. And so I really saw 2 different aspects of really hardworking parents. Yeah. And I think that's part of what instilled the work ethic that I have. Yeah. So I feel good about that. I think that's something we want to pass along to our kids.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here live with us. So tomorrow, I will be having a live interview with Alex Astley, the president of Napa, or incoming president. I guess he's president now.
He's currently president.
El Presidente. So thank you guys so much again. Keep following the content. Subscribe on YouTube. We have all kinds of great content still coming out from Napa. And then I'll do one more plug again. If you're not at Napa this year, you can go ahead and register or be prepared for Napa next year, April 3rd through 5th in Tampa. Okay. Thank you guys.